dot, dot, dot. So the idea was just to understand, what does their spouse do that really helps them to feel loved? Knowing that those are the things that make someone feel safe. So we had at least 1,000 people respond to that, had all these answers, looked at them all, analyzed them, and realized that there were some real themes. So let me go through some of these things, because these are the things that we can be doing that will help someone to feel safe with us. Okay? So one of the things that we heard often was this idea that I feel loved when you pray with me and share a deep faith. Which makes sense. I mean, when I asked you guys, what does it take to have a great marriage? And the first thing we heard was Jesus. And that's so true. He is the answer, right? Okay? So just that shared spiritual relationship is so important. That can help us to feel loved. Talk. Love. Know me and a willingness to be known. So there's this idea that I feel loved when you talk to me. When you ask me questions to know me, but then you're also willing to be known. And I have up there the 20 minutes in parentheses because there's a study. I think it's one of the best marriage studies that I've ever seen. And it basically shows the difference between unhappy couples and happy couples is 20 minutes. That's it. Just the difference. These happy couples spend 20 more minutes a day in conversation to really get to know one another. Just 20 minutes. That's it. I was so impressed when I first heard that. And it was right about the time that I was asked to perform a wedding, the very first wedding that I was asked to perform. I went to seminary as well, and so I'm ordained, and so we did a lot of premarital counseling. So this one couple said, "Hey, did you marry us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, great." And so I was really wanting to do a good job with this couple, and so I thought about what do I really want to say to them. And I realized that there's kind of, for me, there was 4 things that really stood out. Plus, I wanted to make this was one of the points, because I did 20 minutes a day. And so during the middle of the ceremony, I thought of a really clever way to make this point, to explain these things that I think are really important. So I had found out what her bridal bouquet was, the flowers that were in her bridal bouquet. So I went out and I bought a little package of seeds. So in the middle of the ceremony, I asked if I could have her bridal bouquet. She gives it to me. So I kind of held it up and went, okay, this is the marriage that they long to have. Isn't it gorgeous and it's mature? And this is what they want. But the reality, and I held up the pack of seeds and said, this is kind of where they're starting today. So how do they go from these seeds today to this beautiful, mature, gorgeous bouquet of flowers? And that's, I said, there's 4 things. So I kind of started to go through these 4 things, and I would relate, one, a relationship with Christ is like, sunlight, and, something else was like water. And I quickly ran out of kind of gardening analogies to my last point, which was this idea of spending 20 minutes together. So the only thing I could think of was this. And so I said, the last thing I want to share, and this is key, is that you need to spend 20 minutes a day fertilizing one another. That's the only one I can think of. Right? But I never made the connection of how that might sound. So I said, so you need to spend 20 minutes a day fertilizing each other. And everybody started laughing. I'm thinking, what's so funny about that? And so, but it egged me on. And so I'm like, yeah. So I looked at her and I said, you especially need to spend 20 minutes a day fertilizing him. And so everybody's laughing sort of awkwardly, and I'm looking at my wife, and she's like, literally, I was not tracking this badly. And so the groom, he's a friend of mine, so the groom sees that I'm totally confused. He leans in real close and whispers, he goes, hey, would you move things along? I'd like to start the fertilizer here. You'll never forget the idea of 20 minutes today, all right? So, although the delivery wasn't that good, the principle's still true, all right? There's something powerful, 20 minutes a day of getting to know one another. So, spiritual relationship, kind of spend that time talking. Another one would be providing positive affirmation. It's important. What else do we got here? Expressing gratitude. You know, interesting. We also ask these couples, what happens within your marriage that makes you feel unsafe? And as we got all the answers,